Today, the inflation came out, inflation report for March. And man, we're in big trouble. Big trouble. Well, look, that's what all the YouTubers and the news is saying for clickbait. And sometimes they're not really wrong, but let me give you some general perspective on what's going on. So this year, in January, the inflation reading was 3.1% year over year. February was 3.2% year over year. And then this year, this month in March, it was 3.5% year over year. So that's headline inflation. That includes food and energy, which what the Federal Reserve defines as volatile, right? So that is headline inflation. It's been going up over the past 3 months. Core inflation, which is what the Federal Reserve says they look at, that has stayed steady. In February, it was 3.8%, and in March, it was 3.8%. And that strips out food and energy, which is volatile. And so the reason why the Federal Reserve says they strip food and energy out is and use the core is because that is a better gauge and a better way that they can actually read what inflation is doing. And it's not all over the place and volatile. So the big deal is they're trying to get inflation down to 2% over the long run. We're talking about all the way from now, we're in 2024, all the way to 2026, I believe is what their projection is when inflation will get down to quote unquote 2%. So right now, all day long, I've been seeing the news and they've been making a big deal about this inflation reading. And they've been really talking about headline inflation because that is showing it's going up. But they're not talking about core, which is what the Federal Reserve looks at, which is staying steady. It's at 3.8%. It's still sticky, which they expected, but it's at 3.8%. So the big deal right now is the stock market is pricing in 3 rate cuts this year. And right now, you know, the stock market has been as high as 5,200 points. I think today, at the time of this recording, I looked, it was around 5,100 points. So a lot of people in the media and the news, they're making a big deal saying the stock market's crashing, it's down because its headline inflation number is high and the Federal Reserve probably is not going to cut, but only cut one time. Let me explain something to you. Even if they do cut one time or cut no times, some people are in a good position right now. Some people are in stocks, which if they cut right now, the stock market is high. It's at an all-time high anyway. And if they cut, it's just probably going to accelerate that, the stock market, S&P 500, right? And people's stocks in their portfolios will see an increase. And if they don't cut and they stay the same and they leave the current interest rate where it is, people who are in cash will also do well. Because right now, people in cash are earning a pretty high interest rate on their cash that's inside of whatever account they have it in, whether that be a CD, whether that be treasuries, whether it be a high yield savings account. They're getting around 5%. So I just want to make this real quick video so people can get some clarity on the situation. Just a brief video. It's not everything, but get 2 sides of the coin. Yes, inflation's going up, but that's really headline inflation. That's not core, which is what the Federal Reserve looks at. It's not a good thing that headline inflation is going on. I'm just referring to the fact that that's not what the Federal Reserve says they look at. And even though they're referring to the stock market crashing and doing really bad right now because headline inflation up is really not doing that bad. It went from 5,200 points and right now it's right around 5,100 some points. It's still at an all-time high, right? And people who have their money in cash right now, they don't mind the fact that interest rates are still high because guess what? They're making up around 5% on their cash. Do me a favor, like, comment, subscribe, be healthy, wealthy, wise. I'll talk to you guys tomorrow.